Hello and welcome. Since I had no good ideas for a video, I wanted to review the somewhat popular show Skinwalker Ranch. I know I am very late talking about a 3-year show, but there is more recent season and episode and more coming soon. I found plenty of articles and comments online, but only a few videos covering the ranch and talked about it in any critical way so far. The first season was recorded in the summer of 2019 and aired back in 2020 on the History Channel and later on Netflix. The secret of the Skinwalker Ranch depicts a highly staged group of actors pretending to be dumbfounded and mystified by everyday situations in order to pass for entertainment. Plumbing noises, passing planes, or dead cows, all good excuses to sell a thrill, insult its viewers' intellect, and of course make money in the process. These reality TV types of show full of heavily edited situations became popular a couple of decades ago, and many other dubious similar shows exist more or less following the exact same formula, especially on the History Channel. The reason I was curious about this one in particular was the presence of
Dr. Travis Taylor. I'm a scientist and a physicist, and I've got 25 years or more experience in the aerospace and defense industry working with NASA, Department of Defense, and the intelligence community. I have degrees in electrical engineering, aerospace engineering, astronomy, physics, optical science.
I naively thought the addition of a physics PhD would bring some sanity to this fantasy, and for a brief moment I thought it would. But a peaceful ranch in Utah with nothing going on is not good TV material. I like Dr. Taylor. He was in a few good science shows before, and even had his own, which wasn't bad. Although he has appeared with questionable people on poorly rated shows, I never thought anyone with advanced degree in science would agree to take part in the charade like UFO hunters and Bigfoot enthusiasts. After all, why would a PhD who spent decades to establish a reputation and earn respect from peers and institutions, achieve a level of recognition and enjoy good scientific standing, wants to destroy it all participating in any third-rate TV show? I really struggle with this career suicide decision. On this scene here, Travis looks annoyed and out of place. He looks really embarrassed to be here, and I can't blame him. But shortly after, his attitude changed drastically. At some point, it looked like a production coached him, and this is painfully obvious. Actually, it's so bad it made me cringe. Is this a case of a contract signed before reading? I don't know. Before I go any further, let me reassure you, there is absolutely nothing to spoil if you have not seen the show yet. I can't reveal things that don't happen simply because nothing happened. Also, let me prove the gullible, the scammers, and the undecided viewers I am not trying to make money or taking advantage of a popular show or movie by not monetizing my video and not allowing commercials. If you get commercial interruption, that would be to YouTube benefits and you should complain. Anyway, the Skinwalker Ranch is an actual place in eastern Utah with no particular interesting features owned by this rich guy. The initial hook starts us off with a run through the field, a soundtrack conveying urgency and intensity, as if something serious happened, but this illusion quickly takes over. It's just a dead animal. And this will be the theme for the entire season, so get used to it. A disturbing display of wealth follows quickly thereafter. More arrogant display of wealth follow with the code entry command center, expensive transportation, personnel, security, etc., etc. Wait, why is the security armed?
We carry weapons because we don't know what we're dealing with, and it's a dangerous place between the natural things that are here and then also the unknown.
Yeah, watch out for dangerous physicists and UFOs. The next interview segment only exists to set the mood, waste your time, and fill in the network request episode time. We find ourselves next on a hill with a suspiciously high RF activity. And for the first time, we do get a glimpse of what is claimed to be going on. Travis put out his phone compass and verified it was still showing north. And it does. A quick check of the tri-field meter revealed a suspiciously high RF environment. Suspicious? What about the TV crew with several cameras, batteries, sound recording equipment, two-way radios, cell phone, etc., 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 all around you?
It's coming from that direction.
Looks like that general direction is where the camera crew is. Oops.
It's in the milliwatt per meter squared.
Just for reference, the US FCC allows from 2 to 10 watts per meter square, depending on frequency, or 1,000 times higher than reported in this short clip. an average Wi-Fi hotspot will put out just about the same RF power. All right, so let's look at an area that doesn't have too much around. Not a lot of power, a little bit, but not much to, well, not enough at least to trigger this this meter. We are right here, milliwatt by meter square. We're 0.011. Let's check out the Wi-Fi here. Yeah, 3,500. So I fail to see the point of this clip. And everybody here is just fine. In fact, you could set up a cabin and live on this hill your whole life and be perfectly safe. A cheap portable spectrum analyzer like this one in combination with the RF power meter would have been far more useful, but maybe too revealing. They will eventually use one of those, but not here. The next episode starts with the revelation of a powerful magnet in a case, but don't get used to it. We'll never see it again. So why bring it up? To demonstrate the effect of strong magnetic field on phone and cameras. So they're basically telling us how most of the disturbance can be faked on demand. The thinking is a giant magnet or some powerful magnetic field is being generated on the ranch under the property and messing up the recording equipment. You would think a simple compass would be easy enough and a cheap way to find small magnetic anomaly, which do exist naturally, by the way. The careful observer will also notice the camera crew filming this entire season never experienced any of these so-called effects. Weird? You make the call. Now, I'm not dismissing the personal experience of the people on the ground. I cannot comment on the subjectivity of someone's feeling.
Real quick, guys, do any of y'all feel swimmy-headed at all?
If they say they feel something, it may very well be real, but impossible to prove or demonstrate one way or another. So I won't comment on that. It's a very easy way to keep the audience engaged, waste airtime, edit the video for maximum effect, etc. But usually add no real value, especially if not or vaguely supported by any instrument. This was recorded on May 29th, according to the header here. Remember this for later. The whole laser show at night with flickers and reflection is just pathetic. It made me cringe again. I'm not believing for 1 second a physicist would look at any of these and find it interesting or curious or worth any time. Most viewers will have seen these effects elsewhere. So to help sell it, someone is feeling unwell again and must be evacuated. If I had to guess what happened, I think it was getting late. They could not get anything interesting going. The cameras are rolling and someone is paying and expecting results. So there you go. An easy way out. Episode 3 is best summarized here.
No, I haven't seen anything that just seems abnormal.
But the show must go on. So again, an easy no connection problem with this advanced drone is improvised and blame on the local area. Not realizing that the very next shot is taken from a drone flying directly overhead. I did like to see Travis trying to have fun as much as he could with the EMF detectors and a hotspot a mile above the ranch. Getting the weather balloon up to measure the EMF resulted in yet another failure.
The last ping that we got showed the battery was good, the temperature was good, everything was functioning properly, and then magically it hits this 5,000 foot mark and it's gone.
But where the heck did the balloon go? It's like it just disappeared.
I have actually experienced the same thing during my weather balloon experiment. You see, they used this GPS tracker, which is the same I used and lost track of after a few data points. Despite what most people are doing, these GPS trackers are not the best solution for balloon rides. They stay activated by detecting vibration, and the balloon is just too smooth. So after a few minutes, they stop giving updates, which made me very nervous for a few hours. Well, there you go. Maybe there is another multidimensional vortex in Ohio. The strange sound from the basement segment is just as silly, and nothing comes out of it for the entire show. This seems to be a filler for the last few minutes. It's of no interest, and the plumber would be the person to call, not a PhD and a TV crew. Episode 4 make heavy use of the power suggestion in the rocket segment, with the cows behaving strangely, right on time for a plane to pass by and be misidentified.
I don't know what that was, but it wasn't an airplane, and it wasn't something that would be easily explained away.
Okay, Travis, I'll take your word for it. So could this have been the drone used for this footage, maybe? Why is this such a low-quality, unfocused footage? If I didn't know better, I'd say it was done on purpose. The mystery of the universe are hard at play here. Heavy stuff. Episode 5 starts with Travis awakened by his dog, taking a quick look outside and coming back to his trailer to...
I'm gonna go look on the spectrum analyzer and see maybe it's something on it.
So this is the SDR Sharp freeware running with a simple SDR radio. I'm sure you've seen many people using them for radio communication, trunk radio, etc., etc. I've used it to decode satellite transmission in this video and radio astronomy recording in this one 3 years ago. Anyway, the short clip does not allow to see what or where the radio is and where the antenna is pointing at. All we get to see is part of the screen seen by Travis. Immediately, the repeating pattern every 30 to 50 kilohertz or so should be a dead giveaway as to where the interference is coming from. Man-made. May I suggest an oscillating component in the laptop or the cell phone in your hand? Let me try to reproduce this setup. Here, I have console SDR running RSP1A radio on my Windows PC and a simple wire antenna. I've tuned it to the same frequency Travis is showing here, about 28.69 megahertz. Nothing too suspicious so far. Let me bring the antenna close to my screen here. Would you say this is a similar pattern? Is it fair to say that based on the minimum info we are given, this is a likely explanation? This is not to say there is no interference on the ranch, but I find Travis' lack of critical thinking very disappointing. This event conveniently and very naturally sets the stage to introduce the next segment. The blackboard presentation is the most ridiculously far-fetched theory about the ranch yet. So the crew decided to use a ground-penetrating radar to look at their property. This is not a cheap service and results are expected to generate interest/revenue, no matter what. And it does, of course.
So as we're dragging the device behind us, Phil noticed that there was a structure. Could have been something mundane, could have something to do with the utilities on the property.
My first thought here would be a boulder, maybe. Looks like there could also be some running water nearby.
We're seeing almost a domal type feature, and then it pinches into almost a point.
The best display of TV semi-reality is the look and laugh of the technician here.
Dude, that is crazy.
Why would a phone glitch make it past the editing? I'm sure there's an app for that. The radiation exposure from the standing water well also feels forced and unnatural. Why would you reach for your dosimeter here? Are you expecting something? A headache calls for what?
Well, maybe we should check our dose meters or whatever.
Yes, let's do that. The dosimeter used here is the PEDIS meter from Tracer Co. The manual is available online. Link in the description. According to the manufacturer's manual, this is the peak rate experienced during the time of exposure here. This here is the average dose during that same time. And this is the total dose accumulated. Think of the dose rate like a speedometer in your car. It indicates the current speed, and the total dose like the odometer for accumulated mileage. Travis's meter indicate it has experienced an average of 0.016 milliram per hour. That's the dose rate or the speed. The maximum peak is 0.124 milliram per hour. That would be like the maximum speed in a car analogy. All of it was recorded over 999 minutes, or about 16 hours. This episode is recorded on June 29th, if you remember earlier, exactly 1 month after the dosimeter are distributed to the crew. I wonder how much dose can be accumulated in that window of time. Well, 0.016 times 24 for hours times 30 equal 11.5 milliram over a month. And 0.016 times 24 equals 0.384 milliram over a day. Or in a car analogy, the total distance traveled. 10 times the monthly normal background could seem like extraordinary radiation exposure, but remember at 5,000 feet elevation, this is not unheard of. The 0.016 milliram average is just that, an average. So 10 times the background shows up as the spike on the meter. Nothing out of the ordinary here.
My dosimeter device, which measures exposure to ionizing radiation, is showing that I just got hit with 120 millirads per second.
No, it does not. The 113 milliram is accumulated over that time, at minimum. So between 16 hours and a month. not in seconds. Big difference. The EPA published the Salt Lake City radiation background on this webpage. This is over 4 months of data with the occasional spike from cosmic rays. 0.1 millirem is still a very low dose, not to be concerned about in any way. To prove it, I left my dosimeter on the edge of my desk in the low radiation area, otherwise known as my house. After 2 days, it had accumulated about the same dose, 0.146 millirem. Congratulations, you've experienced normal background radiation. So when Travis talks about radiation burns, the radiation protection guy is understandably mildly skeptical.
Really?
Radiation burns appear on the skin 2 to 24 hours after exposure, but anything below 100 rem does not usually show up. So if Travis has gotten 100 rem in one setting, 1, the burn would look very different and widespread. 2, he would be immediately rushed to the hospital with a 10 to 20% chance of death. 3, the area would have to be evacuated immediately. And 4, filming would of course cease instantly.
And my doctor looked at him and he said, it looks like when we do radiation treatment with people, that's the kind of burns that you see.
Well, my friend, I suggest getting a new doctor because that one is not very good. But wait, what if there was something after all?
Nothing?
Nothing.
This background.
Yeah, that's this background.
Yeah, it's harder to fake nuclear radiation now, isn't it? The last episode of the first season provided us with the climax, a dead cow. The vet seemed to believe it was an animal probably already sick or stressed.
All the signs I've seen point toward stress-induced pneumonia.
The cattle were brought in early June during the 4th season, so stress is a natural factor to be considered. But the crew tries hard to get the UFO theory out of the vet, but to no avail. That's alright, because a low-resolution bird flew over the cow at some point, and it was all caught on tape. 2 low-resolution frame is all we get. In your face, skeptics! I did not cover all the ridiculous silliness. I just could not take any more embarrassing comments and situation. The first season concluded, and I was left no further than I started, just a little more confused and sad. I think Dr. Travis Taylor is not doing himself a favor here and may be destroying his career. The man is obviously very knowledgeable and intelligent. He has earned respect and credibility over the decades. I don't know if he's a willful paid participant or if he's being taken advantage of in the most cynical way. I'm just trying to offer a different perspective and inject a bit of critical thinking into what is, after all, entertainment. I've never been to the Skinwalker Ranch, and for all I know, there could really be something happening there. But I have not been shown any proof that anything strange is going on whatsoever. There is nothing wrong with paranormal research. It demonstrates the ability to keep an open mind, and science is able to advance further and make progress because experiment can be reproduced and studied by others. The very nature of the paranormal phenomena prevent that from happening and keeps it from becoming a widely studied field. To make matters worse, just like everything else, greed corrupts people's mind and behavior. So much so, it's impossible to distinguish genuine claim and witnesses from fakes and people with agenda or hidden interest. Being interested and studying paranormal is fine, but turning off critical thinking ability and refusing to apply scientific rigor and discipline can turn a scientific subject into a belief, and one must accept to surrender his or her credibility. The problem now is how to get it back. Thanks for watching.